Welcome to Millennium Daytime Bulletin. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Let's begin with today's top headlines. Ukraine fires British-French Storm Shadow missiles into Russia for the first time, says report. Trump picks Pam Bondi as Attorney General after Matt Gaetz withdraws. At least 42 killed as gunmen open fires on vehicles carrying Shiites in northwest Pakistan. Brazil's Bolsonaro and allies indicated in 2022 coup plot probe. Putin says Russia launched a new missile in Ukraine. American and Brit among 5 tourists dead as countries warn of suspected methanol poisoning in Laos. US vetoes UN resolution on Gaza ceasefire, saying it doesn't guarantee release of hostages. Fury over Serbia's action station tragedy prompts first arrest. Indian international students in the US outnumber Chinese for the first time in 15 years. Trump's social media company is exploring a crypto payment service called TruthFi. The Biden administration is trying to throw a Hail Mary to save the Colorado River before Trump takes over. Unprecedented image may reveal impending supernova that could be visible from Earth. Sensex soared 1,221 points. Nifty IT leads market rally with 2% gains. F1 needs full-time steward to simplify rules, said Brown. NFL issues warning to players after burglary spate. Now let's look at the details. Ukraine launched the British French-made Storm Shadow missiles at targets inside Russia for the first time on Wednesday, according to Russian military blog and Millennium, a day after Ukraine fired US-made ATACMS missile into Russia. Ukraine use of the UK supplied missiles to hit Russian territory was confirmed by the Millennium by an official on condition of anonymity. British media also reported the use of the cruise missile on Wednesday, citing sources. Ukraine's defense minister Rustem Umerov refused to confirm or deny the sources and use of the UK French-made missiles during a Wednesday news conference. Nor did the spokesperson for the UK Ministry of Defence when asked by Millennium. Millennium has reached out to French Ministry of Defence for comment. President-elect Donald Trump has nominated veteran prosecutor Pam Bondi as his new pick for Attorney General hours after Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration. Bondi has a long track record of law enforcement and previously served as Florida's Attorney General. A longtime Trump ally, Bondi was part of his legal team during his first Senate impeachment trial and also publicly supported him by showing up at court during his hush money trial in New York. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the street safe for Florida families, Trump said in a social media post announcing his choice. Bondi has been close to Trump since 2016 campaign, telling voters at a recent Trump rally that she considers him as a friend In 2019, she joined his White House to focus on proactive impeachment messaging, serving both as his legal advisor and general defense attorney during his first impeachment, during which he was acquitted. She continued to be part of Trump's legal team in 2020 as it made false claims that the election has been stolen from Trump due to voter fraud. Gunmen opened fire on vehicles carrying Shiite Muslims in Pakistan, restive northwest on Thursday, killing at least 42 people, including 6 women, and wounding 20 others in one of the region's deadliest such attack in recent years, police said. The attack happened in Kurram, a district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province where sectarian clashes between majority Sunni Muslims and minority Shiites have killed dozens of people in recent months. No one immediately claims responsibility for the latest attack. It came a week after authorities reopened a key highway in the region that had been closed for weeks following deadly clashes. Local police officer Azmat Ali said several vehicles were traveling in a convoy from the city of Parachinar to Peshawar, the capital of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, when gunmen opened fire, he said. At least 10 passengers were in critical conditions at a hospital. Aftab Alam, a provincial minister, said 42 people were killed in an attack and that officers were investigating to determine who was behind it. Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi called the shooting a terrorist attack. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and President Asaf Ali Zardari condemned the attack, and Sharif said those behind the killing of innocent civilians will not go unpunished. Kurram resident Mir Hossain, 35 years old, said he saw 4 gunmen emerge from a vehicle and open fire bus and cars. I think other people were also firing at the convoy of vehicles from nearby open farms field, he said. The firing continued for about 40 minutes, he said. He hid until the attackers fled. I heard cries of women and people were shouting for help, he said. Ali Bangash, a relative of one of the victims, described the convoy attack as the saddest day in Kurram's history. More than 40 people from his community have been martyred, he said. It's a shameful matter for the government. Brazilian authorities have indicted the country's former president Jair Bolsonaro alongside 36 other individuals as part of the investigation into an alleged coup plot to keep power following the election of his successor Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. On Thursday, Bolsonaro was among the 37 individuals indicted by Brazil's federal police as part of the investigation into the fallout of the 2022 presidential elections, in which the far-right leader bid for re-election was defeated. This is by Millennium Brazil reports. This comes after police alleged, according to CNN Brazil, that Bolsonaro had full knowledge of a plan to prevent Lula and his government from taking office after his election victory. Federal police sent their investigation report, which hundreds of pages long, to the Supreme Court in Brasilia, CNN Brazil's report. Brazil Attorney General will now decide whether to confirm the indictments or scrap the investigation. If the indictments are confirmed, a trial is expected to take place next year. Bolsonaro has repeatedly denied claims he attempted to remain in power following Lula's 2022 presidential win at the polls. In response to Thursday's indictment, Bolsonaro said he has yet to see the indictment and will wait for the lawyers in the post on X. This obviously will go on the Attorney General's office. The fight begins at the Attorney General's office. I cannot expect anything from a team that uses creativity to denounce me, he wrote, citing an interview he had with the online president newspaper Metropolis Among those indicted are several high-profile names that include former aides, front-bench politicians who played a central role in Bolsonaro's first government. Several retired generals, including Walter Braga Neto, former Minister of Defense, and Augusto Heleno, the former Chief of Presidential Security. Fernando Cermedo, a political consultant to Argentina's right-wing President Xavier Milei, who was also indicted. Other names include Bolsonaro's former intelligence chief Alexander Ramagem, who is currently congressman, and Vladimir Costa-Neto, a former congressman and the chair of Bolsonaro's Liberal Party. Russia launched a new non-nuclear ballistic missiles with medium range on Ukraine's Dnipro region on Thursday. Russia's President Vladimir Putin said in a televised statement, marking another significant escalation in the 1,000-day-old war. According to US and Western officials, the ballistic missiles carried multiple warheads, which may be the first time use of weapons this has been in the war. At least 3 people were injured in an attack, the head of the Dnipro military administration had said earlier. A number of buildings were also damaged. Russian Vladimir Putin said a Russian strike in Ukraine also carried out by a new non-nuclear ballistic missile which has a medium range. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons on November 21st of this year, the Russian armed forces launched a combined strike on one of the facilities of the Ukrainian defense industry. Putin said in a televised statement on Thursday, in combat conditions, one of the newest Russian medium-range missile systems was also tested. Putin said, apparently referring to the strike on Dnipro in this case, with a ballistic missile in non-nuclear hypersonic equipment. Our missile men called it Orenchink. The test was successful. The launch goal was achieved. This comes after a US official told Millennium earlier on Thursday that Russia used an experimental medium-range ballistic missile in an attack on Ukrainian city of Dnipro. A medium-range missile can travel between 1,000 kilometers and 3,000 kilometers, according to the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation. Putin also said that Moscow considers itself entitled to use weapons against military targets belonging to countries that allow their weapons to be used against Russia. He said Ukrainian armed forces attacked target in Russia's Bryansk region with the 6 US-made ATACMS missile on Tuesday and later fired British-French Storm Shadow system on the Kursk region. A British woman has become the 6th foreign tourist to die in a suspected mass methanol poisoning in Laos, as a growing list of countries warn of the potentially fatal consequences of drinking tainted alcohol in this Southeast Asian country. An Australian teenager, an American, and 2 Danes have also died in recent days following a spate of suspected poisoning in the popular backpacker destination of Wang, according to the authorities. Another Australian teenager is fighting for her life in hospital. Britain's Foreign Office told CNN on Thursday that a British woman had died without naming her on the circumstances of her death, the latest fatality confirmed by the foreign government amid near silence from authorities in Laos. An opaque one-party state, it comes after Australian authorities confirmed the death of Bianca Jones, 19, who had been on life support in critical conditions for several days in neighboring Thailand after being evacuated from Laos following a night out. Her friend Holly Bowles, also 19, remains on life support in a Bangkok hospital, according to Millennium sources. This is every patient story. This is every parent's very worst fear and nightmare, that no one should be there to endure. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told Parliament Thursday, "Our first thought in this moment are with her family and friends who are grieving a terrible and cruel loss." The United States has vetoed a UN Security Council resolution that called for an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza on the grounds it would not secure the release of hostages. "We made clear throughout negotiations we could not support an unconditional ceasefire that failed to release the hostages, because as this council has previously called for, a durable end to the war must come with the release of the hostages," Deputy US Ambassador Robert Wood said following the veto Wednesday. "These are two urgent goals are inextricably linked. This resolution abandoned that necessity, and for that reason the United States could not support it," Wood added. "7 American citizens are still being held in Gaza. We will not forget them," he said. The resolution put to the 15-member council by its 10 non-permanent members demanded on immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire to be respected by all parties, and further reiterates its demand for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. However, US officials said the language was not strong enough, as it did not condition the ceasefire on the release of the hostages. A general view shows the National Security Council meeting at the United Nations headquarters on Friday, March 22nd, after vetoing 3 prior United Nations resolutions on Gaza. US sees its own ceasefire proposals rejected. Wood claimed that the authors of the resolution had declined to consider compromise language that could have led to this passage, noting also that it failed to condemn Hamas for its October 7 terrorist attack. Only the US voted against the resolution, using its position as one of the 5 permanent members of the Council to veto it. The other 4 permanent members voted for it, including the UK, which has previously abstained from 3 other ceasefire resolutions shot down by the US. After 3 weeks of protests demanding justice following the deadly collapse of part of the railway station in Serbia's second city, arrests have begun. Prosecutors ordered the questioning of 11 people in connection with the disaster at recently renovated facility in Novi Sad. 15 people died after a concrete and glass canopy fell on them at the start of the month. Novi Sad has begun in undecidedly angry state of mourning after this took place ever since. More than 20,000 people look into streets and squares during one demonstration, the biggest protest scene in the city for decades. Participants have been using the slogan, "Corruption kills." They claim the opaque procurement procedures the government has used for infrastructure projects have enriched a few favored contractors while putting people security at risk. We will be right back after a short break. I am Shweta Simar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin.
Millennium Day News is a global news network dedicated to providing high-quality coverage across a wide range of topics, including local, regional, national, and international issues. Operating 24/7, the network emphasizes inclusivity, offering a platform for diverse voices and covering essential subjects such as arts, culture, religion, education, and legal advice. Based in New York City, Millennium Day News connects communities worldwide through engaging programming that includes political discussions, sports news, health segments, and entertainment features. To ensure accessibility, viewers can access content via mobile apps, iOS and Android, Internet Smart TVs, and streaming services like Roku and Amazon Fire. as well as through IPTV and satellite networks. For more information and updates, visit their websites millenniumnews24.com and millenniumtv24.com or follow them on social media and YouTube under Millennium News 24 as they continue to expand. Viewers can look forward to a broader array of news programs that reflect the diversity of the global community. Whether you're interested in current events or cultural discussions, Millennium Day News is dedicated to keeping you informed and connected.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin. For more than a decade, Chinese students have flocked to United States, drawn by the prestige of an overseas education and glamour of the American dream. Education consultancies flourished across China, with parents paying big bucks for tutors and classes that promised to send their children abroad. But that's changing now, and recent statistics, according to Millennium, suggest the allure may be wearing off. During the last academic year, students from India became the largest group of international students in American higher education, knocking China off the top seat for the first time since 2019. According to figures released Monday by the US State Department's and non-profit Institute of International Education, China was still a major source, making up 1/4 of the international students compared to India's 29%, the report found. But experts say the decline reflects significant shift in both policy and public perception, with many Chinese students and families worrying about safety, racism and discrimination, and immigration difficulties, especially as more options open in the other countries, including in China itself. The State Department's figure didn't come as a surprise to many on Chinese social media platforms, since the economic sanctions and tech restrictions started in 2018. Many Chinese students have been sent back home. One user wrote on Weibo. Another user wrote, "The only reason I don't want my child to study in the US is safety." Issues like violence, robbery, gun violence, and drugs, concern about safety, have only risen since the pandemic brought a wave of anti-Asian racism and hate crimes in the US. Truth Social, the social media platforms owned by President-elect Donald Trump, appears to be exploring a move into crypto spaces. Trump Media and Technology Group filed a trademark application earlier this week for TruthFi, which is described as a cryptocurrency payment processing platform. The trademark application includes few specifics but lists numerous potential applications for TruthFi, including card payment processing services, asset management, custody service, and trading in digital assets. It's not clear how far along Trump Media is in evaluating a crypto payment service, or whether the Trump-owned public company will ultimately launch such a platform. A move into crypto could be a way to diversify beyond social media. Trump Media did not respond to a request for comment. The trademark application illustrates the thorny conflict of interest issues raised by Trump's election victory and his sprawling victory and business empire. Trump and his family members own business that stand to gain from crucial decisions his administration will make, including on federal regulation. The Biden administration is swimming against the current to get 7 western states to agree to divvy up the Colorado River water in a way that would protect the river basin and the West's largest single water source, and do it before President-elect Donald Trump takes office, according to a source familiar with the negotiation. It's a Hail Mary to save the lifeblood of the West on the President Joe Biden's watch and creates a sustainable plan to provide drinking water for tens of millions of people, irrigate America's crop and power homes and industry in the years to come. but getting all state and stakeholders to agree in just 2 months how much water they could be entitled to for decades is extremely doubtful, if not impossible. Multiple sources involved in the negotiation told the Millennium the Biden administration long shot goal is the latest move in a water shutdown and that simmered for years between state as the West becomes more arid and its water guzzling population explodes. Recent winters have brought much needed rain and snow, and states have conserved billions of gallons of water. Still, scientists warn the basin remains in a downward spiral. Rising temperature have sucked more than 10 trillion gallons of water out of the river system between 2000 and 2021, according to researchers at UCLA. If an agreement on these complex territorial negotiations can be pulled off before January 20, almost a year and a half before they were otherwise set to conclude, it would avoid the spectacle of a Supreme Court battle, a possibility already being dangled by some basin stakeholders. But after months of disagreement, the 7 states that surround the river plus the surrounding tribal nations remain far apart. Astronomers have captured the first close-up image of a star beyond our galaxy, taken during a dramatic moment near the end of the star's life. In it, the Behout star appears to puff out gas and dust, a critical final step before exploding in a supernova. A small neighboring galaxy that orbits the Milky Way. Researchers took the picture using European Southern Observatory, a large telescope interferometer located in Chile's Atacama Desert. The unprecedented image, combined with observation of WOH G64 over the past decade, has provided astronomers with the opportunity to witness key moments during the violent life cycle of a star. A study describing a comparison of the observations published Thursday in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics. For the first time, we have succeeded in taking a zoomed in image of a dying star in the galaxy outside our own Milky Way, said lead study anchor Keiichi Onaka, an astrophysicist from Andre Bello National University in Chile. In a statement, we discovered an egg-shaped cocoon closely surrounding the star. We are excited because this may be related to drastic ejection of material from the dying star before a supernova explosion.
Now bringing you latest updates on today's market trends.
Indian market action updated. The Indian stock market closed on a robust note today, reflecting strong investor sentiment across key indices. The Nifty 50 surged by 374.25 points, closing at 23,000, registering a gain of 1.6%. Sensex followed the suit with impressive 1,200 points, ending at 78,000, marking 1.58 rise. Significant uptick highlights broad-based buying positive momentum. Nifty IT led the rally, climbing 2% with a notable gain of 855 points to close at 42,000, driven by robust demand in the technology space. Nifty Bank Index also delivered a solid performance, advancing by 657 points to close at 51 points. Optimism is high in financial sector. Meanwhile, BSE Small Cap Index rose modestly by 0.75%. Among individual stocks, Adani Enterprises emerged as a top performer, gaining 44 rupees to close at 2,200 rupees with a substantial trading volume of 3,000 crore. Adani Port followed an increase of 24, closing at 1,138, generating a turnover of 2,400 crore. On the downside, Adani Green Energy slipped at 1,100. Paytm gained considerable ground, adding 58 and closed at 900, reflecting investor confidence. Market breadth showed a positive tilt with 1,600 stocks advancing compared to 741 decliners on the NSE, indicating widespread buying interest. Overall, today's market action highlights a buoyant mood with IT and banking stock driving the rally, complemented by robust performances from large cap names such as Adani Ports as earnings season unfold and global cues stabilize. The Indian markets continue to show resilience, drawing strength from favorable domestic trends and sectoral momentum. Now, time for some sports highlights. Formula One needs to employ steward on a full-time basis in order to simplify the rules of the sports, says Zach Brown. The McLaren chief executive officer thinks current rules are overly regulated and overly complicated. Brown has suggested paying stewards who are currently unpaid volunteers and giving them access to more technology in order to make the right calls on high-profile incidents. This season, McLaren's Lando Norris has been involved in back-to-back controversial track battles with the Red Bull. Max Verstappen, with the pair being penalized for separate incidents at the United States and Mexico City Grand Prix. I think we need full-time stewards, Brown told BBC Sports. I don't think the way we are set up as a sport, we are set up for success. Verstappen made a similar comment to BBC Sport on Thursday, saying, "Do I consistency in the penalties could be better? Yes, of course, sure, but the not only comes with stewards that are paid, professional stewards." The NFL has issued a security warning to players about a criminal network targeting their homes. Players have been urged to ramp up security and take care of about what they post on social media. It comes after the homes of Kansas City Chief stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were burgled last month, while a property owned by Dallas Cowboys Linval Joseph was targeted last week. An NFL security memo about the issue has been sent out to the team officer, security directors and the players union. Reporting on the memo, the NFL website said it was understood the criminal organization used public record to find players' addresses and conduct extensive surveillance. Then, by tracking team schedules and the social media accounts of the player and their families, they wait until homes are empty. Often during games, players have also been asked to make it look like someone is at home. I can't get into too many of the details because the investigation is still ongoing, the Mahomes said when asked about the break-in. Now let's take a closer look at the weather trends and what you can expect as you plan your day ahead. Stay tuned for all the details. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on our social media platforms Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android, and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News 24.